Let's go.
Hello, this is Romilly Broad for EA Sports Football World. I'm standing outside EA's UK head office, where all day FIFA 10 producers have been talking to the UK press. We've been here all day and been completely ignored, so we're standing outside waiting to catch David Rutter, the senior producer on the Xbox 360 and PS3 version. We're going to wait for him to get in his taxi to Heathrow. We're going to jump in the car and we're going to talk to him whether he wants to or not. Dave, I'll put it all in the car for you. Can we have a word? Do you mind?
Sure.
Let's get in the car. Do that. Come on, get in front. Sorry about this, Dave. This is probably the only point in time that you've actually got to relax during the whole day.
Yeah, it's been pretty insane. So I'm about to fly out to Munich. Kind of talking about our messaging. If it was about responding to feedback, then you're the man that has the people's vote, because you're like the football world dude.
The football world dude. Now, actually, getting on topic, I suppose we ought to do that. We had a bunch of our community guys here along with the press today, and they're the same guys who joined us over in Vancouver a few weeks ago. What you've been talking about today is responding and innovating and refining the gameplay, sort of things we've heard a bit about before already. What can you say about our community guys? There was one thing in particular that they fed in and that you were able to talk about today.
Yeah, so just to put a bit of context around why they were there, I think you and I both agreed it would be beneficial to have them come along to kind of continue the relationship with the community guys, and it's not normal practice for EA to do that, and we've been pushing quite hard, both of us, to get that done. And in fact, a number of the real press were commenting on, it's a bit weird you having like fans of the game here, and the reason we get the fans of the game there is that professional journalists don't always have as much expert knowledge on the games that we're making and what kind of matters most to the fans of the game. So you know, one of our big mantras is you respond to feedback, and we're trying to do as much of that as possible. Getting them to play the game is one thing. I kind of leaked a couple of little things that we're talking about, one of which is the fact that we've got quick free kick taker and movement of wall in the game this year, to be able to kind of let people do that. I know it's something that mattered a lot to people, so when the community guys were over in Vancouver, they asked if it would be possible for us to get that in, and it was on our list earlier in the year, but we didn't get around to doing it. So Gary and Aaron kind of went away scratching their heads about how they could get it done, and a couple of days later it was in.
Yeah, one of the other things that was big on the agenda, of course, was manager mode today. What have you been telling people today?
I guess for me, there's a couple of things that are really important to do well in a manager game. One of them is to make sure the match results are realistic. So this year, our simulation engine in manager mode is a lot higher fidelity, for want of a better word. We're really focusing in on things like the individual players and their strengths and weaknesses, you know, as they would be in a real match. How they're combining with the other players on the pitch, the strengths of those lines, so like your defensive line, your midfield line and your attacking line, how they're working together against the other team. And the matches are being calculated on a per minute basis, so the calculations that are going on there are kind of a lot more in depth and a lot more detail. We found that our results and our league tables are a lot more realistic this year, so that's one part.
Actually, talking about realism, there was something you flashed up in your presentation involving Kaka, right?
Yeah, so the next kind of thing we were talking about was transfers. So the first thing's making good match results, and the second thing's making authentic transfers. And we really wanted to do a lot of work on that this year, so we have done, and we actually had happen in a game at work the other day. Kaka moved to Real Madrid for, I think it was 74 million, I can't remember, dollars, which when you kind of look at the price he went for in real life sounds kind of realistic. So I wanted to show people that, you know, we were actually telling the truth. And then the last part really for manager mode is player development. So signing a young nipper for your squad shouldn't necessarily mean that he's going to turn into a superstar every time, which with the correct level of investment in FIFA 09 you would always get. And you know, we wanted to make that slightly more realistic, and have done a lot of work on that today.
One of the other things that was big on the agenda today was the 360 dribbling and physical play systems you've got. Can you tell us any more about that?
I mean, I think we've done a lot of talking about the specifics of it and how it works. I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time today with a lot of journalists who'd just played the game, some of them for the first time since that EU showcase event at the Emirates. I'm pleased that the journalists that played the game and the community guys again said that what it does is it injects a lot of fluidity in the motion of the players. You really feel like you're properly in control of them. I know that the community guys who played it recently in Vancouver are kind of cursing me at the moment because they've gone back to play FIFA 09 and kind of hate it now.
I still enjoy it. Oh, look. This is Stevie. I'll just talk to Stevie. Stevie, I'm interviewing Dave Rutter as we speak. What do you want?
First of all, what the is going on?
We won't be able to use that bit then. Right. Sorry, carry on.
Ask Dave Rutter, why in Kingdom Come does he refuse to appear? Does he do an interview with Romney Broad, but refuse to do an interview with me?
What he just said was, why do you do an interview with me, but you refuse to do an interview with him?
I don't refuse to do interviews with him. He just has to be in the same place as me generally. I could do one over the phone, but it won't make great viewing.
No, it's true, Stevie. I'm going to have to call you back. Maybe you can have a chat with him afterwards.
Okay, fine.
No, I'll speak to you in a bit.
Okay, mate.
All right, bye.
Bye.
One thing that certainly didn't ruin anyone's day, because I spoke to people afterwards and they had huge Cheshire Cat grins on their face, was the practice arena.
Yeah, so as a byproduct, for want of a better word, of what we've been doing with our practice arena, being able to adjust the number of outfield players so you can kind of practice being against a kind of higher pressure team. We've allowed people to drop down to a small number of outfield players, like 2v2, and a kind of exclusive that we've announced as well is the fact that it's multiplayer, so you can have multiple human control players in a short-handed game.
One of the other brilliant things, of course, is something you just revealed today,
Yes.
which is customisable set pieces. Tell us more.
Yeah, so yeah, it's quite cool. What we wanted to do was improve set pieces this year, and so we wrote a tool to allow us to do that, and it was so cracking that we wanted to give people the ability to do it in the game. So based on the kind of quadrants in front of goal and to the side of the area, you kind of select it, you select players and then record their movements, edit them, redo it over and over again however many times you want. You can play it back and test it, and when you're kind of happy you can assign it to a D-pad direction, and then you can have up to 4 directions per quadrant, and you end up with 32 in total to choose from based on those quadrants. And then in a game you can kind of set it off whenever you want and surprise your opponent. We're still debating whether or not we should let people use them in online play, because you know, I'm fully aware of some of the griefing that's been going on to do with custom set piece, custom team tactics, and I don't want to upset the apple cart again.
Well, I better let you get out of the plane in a minute. You're going to need to get your bags, get your thoughts in gear. I think you need to phone your wife, sort some things out.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up and let you get on your way. We look forward to your video blog, by the way. Don't forget to send it to us.
Yeah, as soon as I can get some internet access, I'll do that. Yeah.